For nearly a decade, the Bite of 87 has been one of the most debated mysteries in Five Nights at Freddy's history. Fans have argued over which animatronic was responsible, and which clues across the games are important. Yet, despite the countless theories, the franchise never gave us a definitive answer until now. With the recent release of the second Five Nights at Freddy's movie, a long-standing question was finally been answered. Hidden within the film's details, the characters, the lore is a clear identification of that animatronic. In this video we're going to break down the evidence presented in the movie, connect it back to the established game timeline, and explain how the franchise has quietly revealed the truth at last. Prototype Foxy has been quietly present in the Five Nights at Freddy's canon for years, hinted at, and consistently overlooked. While fans focused on more obvious suspects like Mangle or Freddy, Foxy's earlier, unfinished incarnations were repeatedly framed as unstable, aggressive, and out of order, yet never pushed to the forefront of the mystery. These subtle warnings painted Foxy as a background malfunction waiting to happen. The second movie finally brings these long-standing hints into focus, reframing Prototype Foxy as the inevitable answer. What once seemed like fragmented lore now reads as deliberate foreshadowing, revealing that the animatronic we were never meant to suspect was the one responsible all along. In the second game, Phone Guy makes a comment that, "I'm not sure if the Freddy head trick will work on Foxy," regarding any avoiding of attacks. While the other animatronics can be tricked by a superficial disguise, Foxy's programming allows him to see past it, marking him as fundamentally different, and arguably more advanced than the rest. This detail suggests that Foxy is more perceptive, and capable of recognizing people rather than relying on appearances alone. In the context of the Bite of 87, many have looked for the more dangerous, a smarter animatronic, more likely to act decisively. Although if its systems are damaged, turns what was meant to be an upgrade into a fatal flaw, rather than being better, Foxy's flaw allows him to lack the awareness of the guard's true identity. This flaw makes him uniquely capable of committing the act that became history for the franchise. The second game is set in the original Freddy Fazbear Pizza location, an important detail that was mirrored in the setting of the second movie. This clarified that multiple generations of animatronics coexisted: the unstable prototypes, the newly introduced toy animatronics, the mysterious marionette, and attentive balloon boy, all operating under one roof. This location was a testing ground for overlapping systems, experimental technology, and mounting failures. By confirming that this was the site of the Bite of 87, the franchise ties the chaos of that incident directly to the overcrowded and compromised state of the restaurant, where tragedy was the result of too many moving parts colliding in a single, already strained location. The second movie adds a crucial piece of information that is fundamental for Prototype Foxy's role for the Bite of 87. His recognition system is faulty. Rather than simply misidentifying threats, Foxy is shown to be incapable of recognizing the innocents at all. Every person registers as a potential danger. Designed to detect criminals and protect guests, his corrupted system turns that purpose inward, stripping away any distinction between threat and victim. In this state, Foxy isn't acting out of malice, but broken logic, making him uniquely dangerous in a crowded restaurant environment. The Bite of 87 then becomes the natural outcome of a security system that could no longer tell who it was meant to protect. The second movie reinforces the idea that the marionette possesses wireless control over the prototype animatronics, granting it access to their systems and behaviors. While all of the prototypes fall under this influence, only Foxy is fundamentally broken, his corrupted recognition software making him the perfect instrument. This distinction suggests that Foxy's motivation isn't his own but imposed. The marionette, acting with a broader objective, needed an outcome to find Jeremy and trigger an event severe enough to permanently shut the restaurant down, halting William Afton's behind-the-scenes manipulations. In this reading, Foxy becomes less a villain and more a weapon, damaged, directed, and used to bring an end to a cycle that could no longer be allowed to continue. With Foxy's recognition system malfunctioning, it's likely he couldn't identify Jeremy's security guard badge at all. The very markers meant to distinguish staff from threats would have been meaningless to him, leaving Foxy unable to differentiate an employee from an intruder. In that state, Jeremy wouldn't appear as an innocent guard but as just another unidentified target, making the attack not intentional but tragically inevitable. Long before the second movie made the answer clearer, Scott Cawthon had already left a quiet but deliberate clue in plain sight. On the Scott Games.com website, an image of withered Foxy briefly appeared with the number 87 hidden within his eyes, a detail easy to miss. This wasn't framed as a reveal but as subtle storytelling, the kind Scott has always favored. Rather than spelling it out, he embedded the truth into Foxy's design, allowing the answer to exist without disrupting the mystery. In hindsight, the image reads less like a teaser and more like confirmation. The bite of 87 was always meant to be traced back to Foxy, quietly revealed by the series creator years before the movies ever arrived. In the end, the answer was hidden in a line we all heard but never fully questioned. Phone Guy's admission that he wasn't sure the Freddy head trick would work on Foxy personally held me back from seeing the truth. For years, it sounded like uncertainty, like Foxy was simply unpredictable. But Phone Guy couldn't have known Foxy's intentions because Foxy didn't have any of his own. That line wasn't about behavior, it was about limitation. It was a quiet acknowledgement that Foxy operated differently. The truth wasn't missing, it was always there, concealed in plain sight, waiting for the context to finally be made known. And ultimately, the prototype Foxy was the animatronic who took the bite of Jeremy,